Good evening. A review of the HS2 rail project is expected any day now, with recommendations that could include scrapping the entire scheme. It would then be up to government ministers to have the final say.
Well, supporters say it's crucial that the high-speed route from London to the north, going through Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire, still goes ahead. But critics say the project is now just too expensive to be considered, even with billions already spent preparing for it.
And it comes as wildlife campaigners step up their campaign to save the wildlife at Calvert Jubilee Nature Reserve in Buckinghamshire, expected to be decimated by HS2. Our reporter Charlotte Briere-Edney is live at the reserve this evening. Charlotte, campaigners not happy at all.
No, many people here never wanted HS2 in the first place, so you can imagine how angry they are that tree felling and land clearing is taking place at the same time as a review that might see the whole project scrapped. Now, what will happen here at Calvert Jubilee is that the line will pass adjacent to this lake, so lots of trees and shrubs will have to be cleared to make way for it, and that shelter they create around the lake that the wildfowl, birds and butterflies like so much will go, and the birds and butterflies may simply disappear as well. Now, wildlife campaigners say that simply planting new trees can't replace an established habitat like this one. But it's not only environmental groups that are cross. In fact, some local residents are so angry they've been getting up at the crack of dawn to try to prevent tree felling that's happening not far from here.
This is a very well established, mature bit of woodland, scrubland, grassland. It's been here for decades, if not centuries. It takes a long time for habitats to mature so wildlife can actually live there. You can't cut down a load of trees, plant some new ones and expect wildlife to move over. Those trees need time to actually mature so they can sustain our environment.
We'd like to see High Speed 2 scrapped completely. It's of absolutely no benefit. The business case doesn't stack up and it's causing massive environmental damage, not least in this part of the world. It's an extremely environmentally sensitive area and it would be heartbreaking if all this damage happens for no reason at all if the line is scrapped.
Well, HS2 say they're already planting trees, and they say that by the time they finish, there'll be 30% more woodland than when they started. They told us the most effective way of reducing transport carbon emissions and improving air quality is investing in rail, including HS2. They say that's the only way to get the public out of cars, off domestic flights, and take lorries off our congested roads. Now, as we mentioned at the beginning there, ITV understands that review into HS2 will be presented to ministers any day now, and it could propose major changes to the project or cancel it altogether. It's already cost billions of pounds. Now, ITV Tonight's programme has been investigating what will be the most expensive railway per mile in the world. Alice Key has more.
It's a project that was supposed to transform rail travel in this country, with 250-mile-an-hour trains slicing journey times off trips from London to the north. 10 years ago, MPs voted overwhelmingly for HS2 by 10-1, but as the results of a review into the scheme are set to become public, there have been signs that support for it may be lacking in high places.
And I want to see whether the cash, which is huge, 100 billion, should be better prioritised in the north of the country.
On entering Downing Street, Boris Johnson ordered a go or no-go review.
I don't think there's any future in keeping things quiet about HS2. Why don't we just get it all out there?
£7 billion has already been spent on HS2, enough to build 15 city-size NHS hospitals. One long-time critic says it's time for the review to kill off the project.
It is really a zombie railway. I'd love to see the review come clean and say, look, this was a mistake. We do need more money to be spent on the railway, and we need it to be spent on the commuter railway in the north, on the railway to the west, on upgrading and improving the signalling on the existing main lines. That's where I'd like to see the money spent. If they announced that at the same time as they killed off HS2, I think everyone would cheer.
The green credentials of HS2, electric trains, planting new trees and getting cars off the road are also being called into question.
Sensible would be felling no ancient woodlands in advance of that review at all. We believe that HS2 is going to be enormously damaging to our environment and threatening to our climate as well.
However, HS2 does still have its supporters, among them the former Transport Secretary who began the project.
France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, China, Japan, they can't all be wrong. They have all built in the last 50 years high-speed lines between their major cities, and it's high time we did the same.
The results of the HS2 review are expected soon. Whatever it recommends, though, the debate over what has per mile become the most expensive railway in the world is certain to continue. Alice Key, ITV News.
Well, for all the politics and money involved in HS2, what should never be forgotten or underestimated is the impact it's already having and will continue to have here on the ground, on the people, on the wildlife and on life in general here in Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire and neighbouring Oxfordshire. So for more on HS2 and that review, ITV tonight at 7:30.